Good morning. Happy Saturday, y'all. From me and Winnie, obviously. I ain't gonna talk a whole lot of time. Not everything needs to be, super cute and perfected or jokey all the time, so I'm gonna get right to the point. Little mama's tired this morning. I'm tired. But one thing I learned about that, I haven't changed my perspective of how I look at that. In the sense of, I'll always go back to saying it's so important to take care of your mental, your spiritual, and just taking that moment of self-care no matter how busy you are, because those are literally the things that deflect what your flesh will try to tell you, and tell your mind that, regardless if your body is tired or if there's pain in your body, whatever the case may be, or, it's a struggle for you to kind of just wake up and get your day started. But one thing I keep learning is when you're destined to walk in a bigger purpose, it definitely comes with more responsibilities and days that you just ain't, gonna find the strength to want to keep moving forward. And just some brief conversation with my boss, who I'm really grateful is like my partner as well, because the communication is just, not inferior to one another. But like it's hard to group because there's so many like points to it. Everybody's going through stuff. Everybody's busy. Everybody got tragedies. Everybody got stress, things going on, whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter how busy you are. It should never be looked at like if you're a person who's always helping or there for others, that it's ever a burden the moment you need help or just a listening ear. Absolutely not. I used to think that way and I used to be that person. But at the end of the day, we're all human. And I don't care how superhuman we think we are. At the end of the day, we all need each other. That's what humanity is. Sometimes you're going to have that moment of vulnerable weakness or just, help, if whether it's just advice or venting to somebody, whatever the case may be. And it doesn't make you selfish, not whatsoever. And I think a good way of looking at it is, if it's a burden to people, forget that. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, when everybody's coming to you, they're not worrying about that. And I think some of the things I learned over time that actually kind of recharges me at some points is taking the time to be considerate and mindful of others, even if I may be going through my own stuff, because that selflessness, I believe, brings blessings and takes care of you in times that you really need it, and maybe when you might not have somebody around you. So just being considerate and mindful of others, not always having a broadcast if you are going through something, because everybody is, but not everybody is vocal about it. And at the end of the day, stop hiding behind social media or creating these facades of like everything is just glitz and glamour and just so great. Half of y'all are probably depressed, sad, angry, hurt, unhealed. And that's okay. We're human. That's part of who we are. But the worst part is not addressing or identifying it and not helping ourselves. So how are we ever going to sit here and be good for others if we ain't good for ourselves? It's just end of story right there. So take care of yourself. Don't be afraid to show, if you're just not okay. If you need help from outside sources or whatever the case may be to get yourself right or to be better. And don't ever feel guilty of needing to reach out and ask for help or just need a listening ear if that's what you're constantly doing for others. It ain't selfish. It's you being human. And we need to normalize that more. So enjoy your weekend, y'all.